This is News 3 at 6.
Breaking news out of Madison at this hour. Black smoke continues to fill the air on the city's south side after an explosion at a metals recycling plant on Park Street.
Now you're taking a live look there. Firefighters have been on that scene since 4 o'clock. They say the materials and the wind are presenting some challenges in getting things under control at this hour. They're asking everyone to avoid that Park Street area near Wingrid Drive. So we head out now to Keely Arthur, who's been following the story all afternoon. Keely, what do we know about this explosion so far?
Darkest smoke that we've seen yet in its second.
Well, Eric and Michelle, Madison Fire Departments have been battling these flames and sky-high, very heavy smoke for more than 2 hours now. This all started because of an explosion down at this scrap yard. A company spokesperson for that scrap yard, All Metals Recycling, confirms that explosion started on a pile of scrap metal. Now, we do not know what caused the explosion. We do know it was very powerful as people blocks away say they felt it. Thankfully, though, there have been no injuries as this is an industrial park and many of the people working were leaving for the end of the day. Now, the area right near here is South Park and Wingrid Drive. While traffic is being let through, we would maybe advise you to avoid this area as crews are moving in and out and there is a lot of smoke. And I did ask the fire department how hard it will be to put a fire like this out. They said anytime you have this kind of wind and these kind of materials on fire, it can take quite a long time.
All right, we'll continue to get updates. Keely Arthur live at the scene tonight. Keely, thank you very much. All Metals Recycling calls itself Madison's leading auto salvage yard online. It says it recycles anything, mostly made of metal, steel, and iron. The company website says it pays for things like appliances, cars, auto batteries, radiators, and copper wire. It also lists several items the plant will not take, which includes gas, propane, and fuel tanks, any metal containing mercury, manhole covers, and grocery carts. The site also says the company has been family owned and operated for the last 30 years, and a couple years ago took ownership of the South Park Street salvage yard. News 3 will continue to monitor this situation tonight on Park Street. We'll update you throughout this newscast as well as online at channel3000.com.
So obviously we know that firefighters are struggling with the wind out there. Karen, do we have any idea when that wind might kind of, lay low?
Well, it'll be settling down as we head through the evening. We've got a cold front moving through right now, and that's been kind of stirring up those winds across the area. The official wind right now in Madison is 8 miles per hour, but you can see a lot of areas reporting up to about 21 miles per hour on those winds. And we do have some higher wind gusts across the area as well, up to 28 miles per hour right now toward the Lone Rock areas. So in that area where Keely is right now, there may be some higher wind gusts as well. Our temperatures are in the 70s at 76 degrees here in Madison, 81 in Janesville, 74 in Platteville, and 74 degrees in the Dells. And as we head through this evening, those temperatures will fall through the 70s into the 60s. Any of the showers to the east of Madison will come to an end, then skies turn mostly clear, and it looks like a gorgeous day ahead. So we'll have that forecast coming up in just a bit.
All right, Karen, thank you. High school graduation over the weekend didn't go so well for at least 2 people in attendance.
Yeah, they're now facing charges after what they call a joke gone wrong. News 3's Leah Linscheid has that story out of Reedsburg.
It was a senior prank of sorts, letting the air out of an administrator's car tire. But it wasn't students who were doing it.
They said it was a prank.
When school's out for the summer, some like to leave their legacy behind.
One of the administrators from the high school came out and noticed that both his tires were flattened.
That's apparently what 2 teachers did on the evening of Reedsburg's high school graduation.
They kind of pulled in, flattened the tires, and then left.
Police say school surveillance video helped them identify the perpetrators as Tracy Shambus and Jim Reynolds, both former teachers at the district. Jim talked to us off camera and even showed us the type of valve he used to deflate the tires, saying he doesn't qualify that as vandalism. Police disagree.
It's a fine and then whatever restitution if there's any damage to the tires.
Instead of detention, disorderly conduct charges have been filed and court dates set.
We spend so much time encouraging students and kids in general just to make good decisions.
The lesson learned here, regardless of your age, committing school pranks can sometimes cross the line.
Both of these 2 are well-respected role models in this community, and to have them make such a poor decision was really disappointing.
The school district didn't want to go on camera or even really address the situation other than to say the incident, quote, has been handled. In Reedsburg, I'm Leah Linscheid for WISC News 3.
Police say both Reynolds and Chambas are cooperating with the investigation.
The toddler was removed from what police are calling a drug home in Columbia County. Police arrested Robert Miller and Jessica Surratt on several charges. Officers say they found $25,000 worth of drugs and drug paraphernalia. Police removed Surratt's 2-year-old daughter due to the environment. A man faces his 6th OWI charge after he was caught driving impaired with 2 children in the car. A Richland County deputy pulled Jeremiah Smith over on Friday night for speeding. The deputy says a woman, a 3-year-old girl, and a 12-year-old boy were also in that vehicle. Smith was arrested for OWI, having open intoxicants in a car and not using child safety restraints.
A tanker carrying manure crashed in Middleton this morning. The truck rolled over near Parmenter Street and Highway 12. It was carrying 6,000 gallons of liquid manure. The driver was taken to the hospital, but he's expected to survive.
Manitowoc City employees will undergo training on how to properly handle the American flag. A veteran posted a picture on Facebook showing American flags piled in the back of a public works truck after Memorial Day. The veteran described the flags as piled up like dirty laundry, and Manitowoc's Director for Public Infrastructure has now released a statement saying that employees will now be trained on how to properly handle the American flag.
A new PSA is teaching people about sexual consent.
Are you ready?
Yes. Well, there you see it. The Dane County Rape Crisis Center is launching this PSA this week. It shows young people from each decade and emphasizes that consent never goes out of style. The PSA also focuses on erasing cultural misconceptions about consent and sexual entitlement.
We don't see this in movies. You know, when 2 people are about to hook up, they just go for it. They don't ask each other, and so we have this idea that it's not normal, when in fact it is normal and needs to be normal in order for us to make sure that our relationships are healthy and consensual.
Now, if you're a survivor of rape, you can call the Crisis Center hotline. That number is 608-251-7273 on your screen there. A recent partnership between Madison and a city in Gambia is raising concerns.
Last month, Madison signed its 9th sister city relationship with Canafing. But as Valina Jones explains, not everyone is excited about this new relationship. Valina?
Well, that's right. The Sister City program is all about promoting relationships between 2 cities, but some are concerned with the state of human rights in Gambia and what it means to link these 2 cities together. When Boubacar Cissé thinks about growing up in Gambia, he remembers the good times.
There was never this kind of stories about torture and people going to prison for no reason.
Born and raised in the Gambia, Cissé says the state of the government has changed. He now lives in Sun Prairie but works in Madison and says he's disappointed in the new relationship between Madison and the city of Canafing.
It does send a wrong message that the city is not paying attention to what's going on in Gambia, and they just basically ignoring it.
Human Rights Watch has reported Gambian authorities target people who speak out against the government, including the LGBT community, where same-sex relationships are considered illegal.
I think it's very problematic, to have an official relationship with a city where the mayor says that LGBT people should be beheaded.
Despite concerns, the program's mission is to promote cultural, academic, and economic relationships between Madison and the West African country.
This is not a government-to-government relationship. This is a community-to-community, people-to-people relationship that is geared toward making their lives better.
Balde has felt the impact of the Gambian government with the incarceration of his own family members, but says the relationship is not an endorsement of the government.
It is important that we know each other, we understand each other's cultures, so that we appreciate each other more and be able to live together as a people than divided within the same community.
Now, according to Balde, all concerns regarding the sister city relationship have come from outside of the area. He says no one from the city of Madison has contacted council about their concerns. Those opposed to the partnership want to see the relationship end.
All right, we'll continue to follow, see if things change. Valina Jones in the News Center. Valina, thanks.
The Madison Public Library was honored at the White House today. First Lady Michelle Obama presented the library with the National Medal for Museum and Library Science programs, focusing on early childhood literacy and service to homeless residents. Helped Madison win that award.
I am struck by how important your work has been for so many of our efforts these past 7.5 years.
Madison Public Library.
And get this, only 10 institutions nationwide earned the Service Award. Congratulations.
Yeah, very nice honor. Still ahead on News 3 at 6, an old riverboat gets his second life in the spotlight.
Plus, we continue to follow this developing situation, an explosion at a metals recycling plant. Stay with us. All right, continuing now again with our top story. There was an explosion at a metals recycling plant on the south side of Madison.
And firefighters are still on the scene. They say the wind and the materials involved are presenting a challenge in fighting this thing. News 3's Keely Arthur standing by with the very latest. And Keely, it looks like it's still burning strong. Quite a challenge for those firefighters.
Oh, yes, Eric, and there is still a lot of very heavy smoke. Crews do have this fire contained, but as you said, they're having difficulty putting it out. Now, this all started with an explosion that happened down at a scrapyard over there. A spokesperson for that company, All Metals Recycling, does confirm that an explosion happened on a pile of scrap metal. We do not know what the cause of the explosion was, but we do know it was extremely powerful, as people from blocks away say they felt it when it happened. Thankfully, though, there have been no injuries, as this is an industrial park and many of the people working have now left for the day and left when it had happened. And this area is right by South Park Street and Wingra. There was a lot of heavy traffic earlier in the day. Looking over there, I'm not seeing a ton of traffic, but you might want to avoid the area just to stay safe and stay out of everyone's way. Now, we did speak to the Madison Fire Department. They said that they are using a crane actually to get into that pile of scrap metal and pick it apart and spread it out so that way they can get to the source of this fire and finally put it out.
Right. Yes, and the key advice here, avoid that area from a traffic standpoint. Also, if you don't need to be in that area to breathe in that air, don't. That's just, who knows, right, at this point, as a precaution. Keely Arthur, live on the south side. Keely, thank you. In other news tonight at 6, if you drive through the Wisconsin Dells, of course, it isn't unusual to see a riverboat, but today visitors saw something that turned a lot of heads.
Yeah, okay, so it was a riverboat going right through the middle of town. Today, only on News 3, Dave Delosier tells us about a boat that took a journey back to the future.
Come to the Dells. We're a lot of new things, a lot of exciting things.
With an eye to the future, as Wisconsin Dells grows, they also remain connected to their past.
So, you know, the Dells was founded on the river.
In storage for nearly a decade sits a piece of history.
This boat has been a major part of the history of the Wisconsin Dells area.
They call her the Duchess, one of the first steel-hulled riverboats to carry tourists through the Dells.
It served from the early 1950s all the way until I believe the mid-1990s. And then it got shelved for some other larger and different boats.
That was until today.
There's a lot of work that's being done today. The heavy lifting is being done today.
Heavy, as in what it takes to move a nearly 30-ton boat to what will be its new home. A lot of work in what it took to get the Duchess ready for this.
A lot of work, a lot of manpower. The Duchess, again, was sitting kind of off in the side, all rusted out. They sandblasted it, they painted it, they prepped it.
The Duchess, so much a part of the past, will become a part of the future as the centerpiece of a new plaza in the Dells.
It's traveling around 6 blocks.
But to get a boat 55 feet long from point A to point B and around the corners, the motto is slow and easy.
Yeah, the running joke with the shop guys is, you know how they did this 100 years ago, the same way we're doing it today. So there really is no better way to do it other than slow and safe.
And for tourists like Mary Hodson of Illinois, who came to see the sights,
I have never seen anything like that.
Seeing a river tour boat coming down the middle of Oak Street was hard to miss.
And this move itself is really something to see.
At the corner of Oak and Broadway, the plaza will be constructed around the Duchess, a plaza that will fit the city's vision of the future while giving a nod to the past.
Very memorable. A piece of history. I think it's wonderful.
In Wisconsin Dells, this is Dave Delosier.
It really represents our city.
WISC News 3.
Very cool. Well, the plaza will also have artwork and performances. The city plans to dedicate the new plaza on July 2nd.
All right, let's get to Cara now with an update on our forecast.
Yeah, we do have just a few spotty showers in our far eastern counties right now. There's a cold front making its way across southern Wisconsin, and that has triggered just those isolated showers off to the east. You can see one just exiting Jefferson County right now, and those will be continuing to slide to the east and coming to an end tonight. And along with that, that has produced some gusty winds across southern Wisconsin. Our precipitation totals for the last 48 hours, 1 inch here in the Madison area, but some higher amounts into the southwest part of the state, more than 1.5 inches in Platteville, as well as up toward Viroqua. Here in Madison today, we topped out at 77 after a low of 63. Our normals for today are 74 and 51, and there you can see that fire is still going on in the background. 76 degrees right now. Winds here in Madison anyway are west-southwesterly at 8 miles per hour. The air pressure is falling, but even with those lighter winds reported at the airport, there are some gusty winds out there. Temperatures are in the 70s to right around 80 degrees. 81 right now in Janesville. It's 73 in Mineral Point and 76 degrees in Lone Rock. And there are those gusty winds across parts of the area anyway. A 24-mile-per-hour wind gust right now in Monroe, 23 miles per hour over toward the Mineral Point area. And that's giving those firefighters those problems as far as those gusty winds. But those should gradually start to settle down after the sun sets tonight and after we lose some of our daytime heating. Temperatures across the area, some 50s to the north, still some 80s down to the southeast right now. And here's a cold front that continues to head across the region. That's heading off to the east tonight. Behind that, high pressure starts to build in, and that's going to give us some mostly clear skies for the rest of tonight and also some sunshine into tomorrow before our next storm system arrives Friday and into the weekend. Here's your future track forecast. Those few showers off to the east fade away, and then it looks dry for the rest of the night. Tonight, we'll see those mostly clear skies, some sunshine into the day tomorrow. It stays dry for tomorrow night as well, and then that next chance for some showers and thunderstorms works its way in on Friday. A chance on Friday and then a better chance as we head into Friday night. Tonight, 53 degrees. Any of those showers off to the east come to an end. Skies turn clear and it turns cooler overnight. Partly sunny for tomorrow with that high back up to 75 degrees. And then for the rest of the week, we do have that chance of a few showers or thunderstorms on Friday. Better chances for more numerous showers and thunderstorms Friday night into Saturday. Those chances gradually taper off then as we head into later in the weekend and into early next week.
Tonight at Monona Terrace, the 54th annual Madison Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony will add 4 new members. They include former Badger goaltender Mark Barron, former Madison Memorial football star and Super Bowl champion Tyrone Braxton, Madison East and UW basketball standout Karen O'Malley Crowley, and longtime golf pro and teacher Dennis Tiziani. Our Jay Wilson, the master of ceremonies again tonight, the Madison Sports Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Mother Nature moving softball sectional playoffs back a day, so Verona had to sit around and wait for the rain to go away before tangling with La Crosse Central. Central hadn't given up a run this postseason. That would change. One on for Nicole Neitzel in Verona. Love the camo unis, by the way. The hit and run is on, but everyone can slow down when she goes yard. That's a 2-run shot to give the Wildcats a 2-0 lead. And with runners on second and third, Heather Rudnicki chops back to the pitcher who just throws to first and then throws it away. Alyssa Erdman, Emily Osicki score. Verona wins 5-0. They'll play Holman tomorrow at Sun Prairie. La Crosse Country Club golf Division I boys sectionals, Madison Memorial and Middleton. They get the stars because the top 2 teams head to the state tournament. Memorial's George Whites finished with the low round of the day, a 3/75. Division I sectionals in Watertown. Badger wins by 6 strokes over DeForest, and the Norskis sneak past Monona Grove by 1. MG's Jake Schrockenthaler tied with the low round of the day, carding a 4/74. The Brewers trying to avoid a sweep at the hands of the Cardinals. Look at Trevor Rosenthal. He wore his Memorial Day jersey on accident again instead of the regular one. He'll be forgiven. Ryan Braun's been hitting all year, and he does it again with runners at the corners. Drives in a run to give the Crew a early lead, and then 2-0 in the 6th. Martin Maldonado, 2-out production. First homer of the year. The Brewers take one. 3-1 the final. The Crew heads to Philly for 4 games this weekend. Well, it was a family affair, at least for a while, at the French Open 4th round. Serena Williams, Elina Svitolina. Serena far court forehand game is very strong. And if you weren't convinced, after 26 minutes in the first set, backhand game equally good. She wins 6-1, 6-1. But Venus, oldie but goodie, but couldn't hang on today. She falls in straight sets in the 4th round. The 2017 Pro Bowls making another change. going back to AFC versus NFC format instead of the teams being drafted by team captains. And this year's game officially announces that it will move to Orlando's Camping World Stadium. Just had a $200 million facelift. The game had been played in Hawaii for all except 2 seasons since 1980. Stanley Cup Finals, Game 2, Sharks and Penguins. The puck drops at 7 o'clock tonight. The Penguins took an early lead and won Game 1. They've been out shooting opponents all playoffs. We'll see if Joe Pavelski and San Jose can steal one in the Steel City, and if News 3's Dave Delosier can celebrate again tonight. Move not. More News 3 at 6 is coming your way next.
June begins with almost no movement on Wall Street. The Dow Jones up just 2.5, settling at 17,790. NASDAQ up a little more than 4. The S&P up 2 1/3. We're back after this.
Hi, I'm Michelle Carolla. Tonight on the Hour News at 9, with summer approaching, many will flood to Capitol Square for some summer fun. But how is the road work in the downtown area going to affect your plans? That story, along with the Foxcast and Sports, is first on Fox at 9.
All right, here's a final look at the scene of the metals recycling plant explosion. This plant located on Madison South Side on South Park Street. And again, people are being asked to avoid this area at this time.
Firefighters say the materials and wind are making it hard to fight this fire. News 3 has a crew on the scene, and we will head back out to the scene tonight at 10. Until then, you can follow us on social media and see this live stream on channel3000.com.
News 3, Wisconsin Broadcasters Association News Operation and Station of the Year. Thank you.